INTPs are often doing those unusual things. Let's find out if you do it as well. Number 1. Constantly question everything. INTPs are like the Sherlock Holmes of everyday life, but instead of solving mysteries, they're on a constant quest to question everything, and I mean everything. To an INTP, no fact, statement, or belief is safe from scrutiny. Why do people shake hands? Why is the sky blue, not green? Why do we refrigerate eggs but not bread? To an INTP, these are the burning questions of the universe. In the middle of watching a movie, they might pause and ask, wait, how do time travel paradoxes even work in this plot? Or during a dinner conversation, they'll casually throw in, but what really is consciousness? Everyone else is busy just being, but the INTP is busy questioning the nature of being. It's like they've got a mental detective board full of red strings connecting everything in existence, from quantum physics to the philosophy of breakfast cereals. The best part? They often ask these questions with such genuine curiosity that you're left wondering why you haven't been pondering the intricacies of why cats prefer cardboard boxes over luxurious pet beds. It's as if the INTP is walking through life with a giant magnifying glass, zooming in on every detail, poking at the fabric of reality and asking, but why? This relentless questioning isn't just about being nosy or argumentative, it's how INTPs understand the world. If they don't question it, how can they truly know it? Life to them is a puzzle, and every piece needs to be examined, flipped over, and maybe thrown into an alternate dimension to see if it fits better there. Sure, it might make them seem a bit quirky, but hey, someone's got to ask the important questions like, why do we park on driveways and drive on parkways? 2. Zoning out into deep thought. When an INTP zones out, it's not your standard oops, I missed what you said kind of thing. Oh no, this is a full-blown deep space exploration inside their mind. One moment they're sitting at the dinner table nodding along, seemingly engaged, and the next they've mentally wandered off into a black hole of abstract thought. Sure, they're physically present, but mentally? They're light years away, probably contemplating the origins of the universe or whether time is just a social construct created by overly punctual people. Imagine this, you're chatting about weekend plans, maybe heading to the beach or catching a movie, and you notice the INTP has gone quiet. That's because mid-conversation they've been sucked into a mental vortex, pondering, what if reality is just a simulation? And if it is, do we still need sunscreen? You could probably wave a hand in front of their face, and all you get is a glazed over look that says, please wait, brain under construction. The funny thing is, when they snap back to reality, they might offer a completely random insight that's been brewing while you were discussing the merits of Saturday brunch. Yeah, I agree. By the way, I think I figured out how teleportation could work if we solve the problem of atomic reassembly. Classic INTP. And don't take it personally if you feel like they've tuned you out. It's not that they're bored, it's just that their brain has a mind of its own, and sometimes it takes unexpected detours. You might be talking about something completely mundane, but the INTP's inner world is always turning away at high-level problems, like how to redesign the educational system, or whether parallel universes exist, and if so, what their parallel self is doing right now. Zoning out into deep thought is just the INTP's natural habitat. It's where their best ideas come from, even if it means they occasionally forget to reply to the actual conversation at hand. So, next time they drift off mid-chat, don't worry, they'll come back around eventually. Probably with some genius insight that has nothing to do with what you were talking about. Number 3. Turning arguments into intellectual debates. When an INTP steps into an argument, it's never just a clash of opinions. It's a grand invitation to enter the intellectual gladiator arena, where logic is the sword and reasoning is the shield. What starts as a simple disagreement, say over which pizza topping is superior, will inevitably transform into a full-scale debate on the philosophy of taste, the subjective nature of preference, and possibly even the history of pineapple as a culinary ingredient. They don't just want to win the argument, they want to explore it, break it apart, and analyze every microscopic detail until both sides either reach enlightenment or decide to order pizza with no toppings at all. INTPs aren't here for emotional outbursts or because I said so reasoning. Oh no, if you're going to argue with them, you better come armed with facts, data, and well-structured logic, or prepare to get lost in the weeds of their beautifully intricate, sometimes bewildering thought processes. Why don't you like pineapple on pizza? Might seem like a simple question, but for an INTP, it's a launchpad to discuss the nature of culinary innovation and how human evolution shaped our modern taste preferences. But here's the catch. INTPs aren't really trying to prove you wrong. They genuinely enjoy the process of dissecting ideas. For them, an argument is like solving a complex puzzle, and they'll bring you along for the intellectual ride, whether you wanted to go or not. They'll challenge every assumption you've ever made, not to tear you down, but because they think there's nothing more exciting than discovering how ideas stand up to scrutiny. It's all about the pursuit of truth, and if they can make you question your whole belief system in the process, well, that's just a bonus. Of course, this can lead to some hilarious mismatches. You might just want to argue that chocolate is better than vanilla, but suddenly you're knee-deep in a discussion on the cultural symbolism of flavors, historical trends and dessert preferences, and whether or not we can even trust our own taste buds, all while you're still holding your spoon. And heaven help you if you try to end the argument with, let's just agree to disagree. INTPs hear that as a challenge. Agree to disagree? Blasphemy! How can we grow intellectually if we don't continue to pick this topic apart piece by piece? There's more to uncover, more to analyze. For an INTP, no debate is ever truly over. It just pauses until they can find a new angle to come at it from. So, buckle up and enjoy the ride, because you're not just in an argument, you're in an intellectual adventure. Number 4. Collecting random knowledge. INTPs are like walking encyclopedias with a twist. They don't just collect useful knowledge, they hoard random facts like it's their superpower. Their brains are a bizarre archive of information that no one asked for but everyone is curious about once it pops up in conversation. Ever wondered why flamingos are pink? An INTP will casually drop into the conversation. Oh, that's because of the carotenoids in their diet of shrimp and algae, while everyone else is trying to figure out how the conversation even got to flamingos in the first place. For INTPs, collecting random knowledge is like a never-ending treasure hunt, except instead of gold coins, they're amassing obscure trivia and niche facts. They might spend hours reading about medieval weaponry, only to switch to the science behind black holes. Then somehow end up watching a documentary about ancient Egypt's irrigation systems. And just when you think you've nailed down their interest, they'll surprise you by being an expert on why koalas sleep 20 hours a day, or how early humans invented musical instruments. This curiosity isn't limited to academic topics either. INTPs will deep dive into the weirdest, most specific hobbies, like the history of pinball machines, or the psychology behind why people enjoy ASMR videos. Their thirst for knowledge is insatiable, and they'll pursue any topic that sparks even a flicker of intrigue. I just wanted to know how bread rises, they'll say after spending an entire afternoon learning the chemical reactions involved in baking, followed by a quick foray into the history of bread making across ancient cultures. It's not uncommon for an INTP to go on a tangent during a conversation, seamlessly transitioning from discussing their weekend plans to explaining the mating habits of a deep-sea creature. You might be planning a road trip and suddenly they're telling you all about the architectural design of a Roman aqueduct. These facts often come out of nowhere, but they're always oddly fascinating, making you wonder, how do they know all this stuff? The best part is they don't just collect these facts, they remember them. Years after a seemingly random topic was discussed, they'll pull out a specific detail with perfect accuracy. Yeah, I remember reading about how the Vikings used sunstones for navigation on cloudy days. And you'll just sit there amazed that not only did they know that in the first place, but they somehow retained it for this exact moment. INTPs find beauty in the strange and unexpected corners of knowledge, where most people don't think to look. It's their quirky way of understanding the world, a patchwork of random, fascinating tidbits that somehow, in the vast landscape of their mind, all fit together. Sure, you might not need to know why wombats have cube-shaped poop, but an INTP will make you glad you do. Number 5. Appearing aloof but observing everything. INTPs have this incredible superpower where they can seem totally aloof, like they're floating through a conversation on autopilot, but secretly they're Sherlock Holmesing the entire room. While you might think they're lost in some abstract thought about quantum mechanics or debating the multiverse theory in their head, which, to be fair, they probably are, they're also silently observing everything. It's like they've got a mental notepad, jotting down every little detail, the way someone crosses their arms, the shift in tone during an awkward pause, or the subtle eye roll someone tries to hide during a meeting. Picture this: you're at a party, chatting away, and you notice the INTP in the corner, seemingly miles away in their own head. You assume they're not paying attention because, well, they're looking at a plant as if it holds the meaning of life. But oh, they're listening, they're observing, they're collecting data. Later, they'll casually mention, "Did you notice how Brian kept adjusting his collar every time someone mentioned his new job? Seems like he's stressed about it." And you'll be floored because while you were trying to figure out the best place to stand, the INTP was basically profiling everyone in the room like a low-key detective. Their aloofness is a bit of a ruse. Sure, they might not seem interested in the small talk or the mundane back and forth about weekend plans, but underneath that quiet exterior, their brain is running 1,000 calculations. Who's the leader of this social group? What's the power dynamic at play? Why did Sarah just change the subject so quickly when the vacation topic came up? They're picking up on all these subtleties that most people miss, but they're not going to point them out unless it serves some greater purpose, or they just find it too interesting not to share. In fact, their aloofness is often mistaken for disinterest, when really they're just waiting for something worth engaging with. If the conversation shifts from weather talk to something juicy, like a philosophical debate or an analysis of someone's quirky behavior, you'll see the INTP suddenly come to life. They were just lying in wait for the good stuff to start. What makes it even quirkier is that when you least expect it, they'll drop some hyper-scientific observation that leaves everyone thinking, "Wait, how did you even notice that?" They won't have said a word all night, but suddenly they're revealing who's secretly in a bad mood based on their micro-expressions, or explaining why the group's dynamic changed after someone mentioned an inside joke. It's like they've been mentally compiling a full dossier while everyone else was just trying to remember the punchline of a joke. So, while INTPs may seem like they're floating in an aloof bubble, they're actually soaking in all the details, processing them, and storing them for future reference. Just because they aren't saying much doesn't mean they aren't thinking about everything. These videos will be really helpful for you.